Hey everyone, how's it going? I figured today I get a chance to talk about a particular movie that I've always wanted to see, since I was a kid. Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which I can't believe is like nearly 20 years old. One of the interesting facts about Teaching Mrs. Tingle that the original title for Teaching Mrs. Tingle was called Killing Mrs. Tingle, but it was changed because of what happened at the time with the Columbine shooting incident. And of course, the movie stars, Katie Holmes and Barry Watson, who at that time were known, for their roles as Joey Potter in Dawson's Creek. And, Barry Watson, of course, is the eldest son, Matt Camden, in Seventh Heaven. So basically, the basic plot premise has, the characters of Leanne, Luke, and Joe, dealing with their history high school teacher from hell. Mrs. Tingle was played by Helen Mirren, and it's kind of an interesting, rather, role for her because it was kind of like a dream role that she kind of always wanted, playing that, teacher from hell. And I can kind of say that from a personal experience, having, those kind of teachers, that you either didn't really like or you kind of felt like they were out to get you, no matter, how much good, that you did. And the film kind of takes like a, I guess you would say like a comical approach to it, because Leanne just, wants to get away from her, northern, California town, and escape, her life and get like a valid, be valedictorian of a high school as a way of, and get the scholarship as a way of starting a future for herself. So the three of them decide to come up with the idea, I guess, of holding Mrs. Tingle hostage, and then of course, for Leanne to change her grade from a C to an A in order to get the valedictorian spot. I would say, even though for like almost nearly 20 years since the movie's been out, I always had the, it was always like one of those movies I wanted to see. And, of course the movie comes from Kevin Williamson, who's known for his works in Dawson's Creek and, The Vampire Diaries and the Scream movie. And of course, he's more known for his writing work, and this was his only directorial, feature, to this day. I mean, at the time, Teaching Mrs. Tingle was, you would consider like a box office bomb, but of course, throughout the years, like many movies that don't always do well, it gained like a cult following of sorts throughout the years. So, I would say surprisingly, the movie, was better than I expected. I mean, it takes like an interesting angle sometimes what one would do to get even, with someone they felt that was out to get him. And like I said, in this case, being a teacher. And of course, the film kind of explores, Mrs. Tingle's, her own particular reasons for disliking Leanne and kind of, making her life hell. And I guess kind of like the similarities that the two characters had and things like that. So, yeah, I would say, for someone looking for something that's, I guess, considered a cult classic, I would definitely recommend it for that reason. So that would be my take on it. All right, everyone. Thanks again for listening, and have a good night. Thank you.